congratulations to Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood has been awarded the Big Ten Freshman of the Week. That's right, folks. After his performance with 200-plus passing yards, 100-plus rushing yards, the coaching staff let Bryce cook, and we saw it right here. Big Ten Freshman of the Week. TJ, I think it should. I'd be fine with Big Ten Freshman of the Month. I was so happy with Bryce Unleashed, like they did. What did you think about this award? Feel like it's very well deserved.
Yeah, it should be the first of many, right? I think Michigan, they did what they should have done to start the year. They allowed Bryce Underwood to be Bryce Underwood. They allowed the system to be, to fit the players instead of the players fitting the system, right? And I think that's key when you have talent like Bryce Underwood. When you have generational talent, you have to adapt your system to your talent. And again, look, Bryce Underwood, again, for those who don't know, 9 carries, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns, 12.7 average, 16 for 25, 235 yards, 9.4 average, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He does got to clean that up. He will. He was, those are young throws. Those are young player throws, but it's great. And it's the first of many. And I know it's Central Michigan, but a lot of players have played cupcakes, and not all players put stats that he's put up. So I'm excited. I think this will be the first of a few freshmen of the year. I'm excited. And then now, John, I guess we could kind of talk about it. We've all heard Poggi's comments post-game and even the press conference recently. Bryce Underwood has a green light.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may be asking yourself, where the hell was that green light against Oklahoma? Yeah, I think we all ask ourselves that. But it doesn't matter because going forward, he has a green light, and that's what matters. And I'm excited to see how he's utilized. I'm excited to watch this offense continue to grow and develop. I'm excited to watch Bryce develop his chemistry with his wide receivers and tight ends. Because Hogan Hansen was there, made some big plays. Marlon Klein's getting better by the week. I think there's a lot to be excited about, John.
We can speculate and we can talk through it. The bottom line is, regardless of if it was a collective decision, obviously the buck stops with the head coach with these types of things. But here's what I like is that even though it did take a big loss at Norman for them to realize it, what I like is that apparently Sharon himself is the one who made the call. Let's open it up. That's according to Biff, right? And I take him at his word on that. So they want to open it up now. I will say, just for the record, that Sharon Moore has had a track record of being conservative with his calling and everything else. And then Chip Lindsey has had a track record of opening things up a little bit more. And if you look at the offenses that he's run, I'm just saying, now it does look like Sharon Moore says, let's open it up, meaning Chip Lindsey can run his offense. So we'll take that as is. I also did like, TJ, that apparently before Sharon Moore left, because of course he was able to coach the team until the game, right, through Friday night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, right? So through that time, he was working on the O-line. Remember when this idiot on YouTube said, hey, maybe Sharon Moore should focus on the O-line a little bit?
Yeah. Which is potentially telling on the position coach for that position. But yes, it does appear that is the word, John, that Sharon Moore has been putting his focus on the offensive line. It's going to be interesting to see how much it grows and develops, and it's also interesting that, but it's probably proper. We want Chip to focus on this offense, and I think that's best for everybody. And I'm going to say this right now. There was some pushback by some fans saying, oh, you're pushing an agenda. I'm not pushing any agenda. It was very clear, extremely crystal fucking clear, unless you are a blind Kool-Aid sipping loyalist who cannot critically think for yourself, that Sharon Moore put a governor on Bryce Underwood in that Oklahoma game. It is very clear that it was head coach's decision to not run that quarterback. And not only that, it's been very clear that they had a game plan to run the air out of the ball because it was an air raid offense. That has been confirmed.
By Biff.
Guess who calls that? Guess who makes that decision, John? The head coach makes that decision. It is very clear, as we all have heard the press conference, Michigan is going to give Bryce a green light. They're no longer going to try and run the air out of the ball. Okay, well, that's Chip Lindsey's offense. Another comment, actually, I want to read this. We'll give a shout out here to Sam Webb. Sam Webb made a comment, and John, I didn't even mention this to you, but I want to.
Sure.
Right there. Sam Webb says, hold on. Oh, here, right here. Sam Webb says, I'll be interested to see how much practice actually translate, how much of Chip's UNC stuff we see, and how vertical the passing game is. This was a recent comment by him. Chip's UNC stuff. Well, that sounds like Chip Lindsey's offense, John, meaning, like we discussed, we need to allow Chip Lindsey to have 100% control of the offense. For the fans out there who think that Sharon has had zero influence on the offensive game, you're crazy. It's very clear. Now, I'm not saying Sharon Moore is not allowed to obviously, collaborate with Chip. But my point is, and I think many of us agree, Chip needs to be in control of this offense, and he needs to be allowed to fully implement what he wants to implement, especially with a player like Bryce Underwood. And what's nice too is you see players like Andrew Marsh, these young freshmen, starting to get comfortable, right? Allow your managers, your coordinators to do their job and be a leader and a CEO. And if that offends you, that's a you problem. Okay. I'm not pushing any agenda. We're just calling it like we see it.
Yeah, I think I'll say this. The product that we saw against Central Michigan, I noticed a couple of things, right? Number one, first of all, I actually liked the O-line performance, and I really liked Jake Garnera. The more that I watched his play, the more I like what I see. And I'm kind of hoping he stays a starter. I understand that people are injured and that people are going to be coming back. I know El Hadi is probably out for at least a couple of weeks. He's not coming. He's not going to be rushed back at all. Let's have Jake Garnera have a shot as starter, and let's see more from Frazier too. Let's see more from Blake Frazier. I think when we're starting to see some addition, I don't want to say addition by subtraction, but kind of we're figuring out who we have and the talent of some of these players. What that allows you to do is open up the gap separation for runs. It allows you Bryce with his ability. I'm not going to lie. I actually loved the almost interception. I know that there was a guy, I think on that play, Zach Marshall was actually open. But he went for it, and I love that. Okay. That set the tone from the beginning of the game all the way through the game that the training wheels are off. Bryce officially is allowed to make whatever throw he wants to make, obviously within the confines of the play design, but whatever throw he needs to make, or run the ball if that is the only option, where he went through his progressions on multiple occasions, TJ. These weren't not all of these were designed quarterback runs. On a couple of occasions, he looked through every progression he had, every receiver was covered, and he ran. He saw an open lane and he ran. That's what J.J. McCarthy used to do. That's what I want to see. And so what you see, TJ, from each game of progression, right, from New Mexico to Oklahoma to now Central Michigan, Bryce is getting more comfortable in the offense, which is good. Is he still making some freshman mistakes? Yeah. But guess what? I want him to. I want him to make mistakes. I want him to feel like he can. It's called fail fast, right? You got to know that, take chances, take shots. You're gonna throw a pick or two. That's okay. Bryce doesn't throw a lot of picks. I mean, this is his first interception, right? He's not Brett Favre. He doesn't throw a bazillion picks. but he needs to feel like he can play his game with no restrictions. And it
Yeah.
did feel like Central Michigan, he was able to do that. The receiver play, when I looked at it again, route running has improved, folks. And I did say I would give Ron Bellamy some credit if I saw good things. Route running's improved. However, we still had a lot of drops. So
We did.
congrats, Ron Bellamy, on improving route running, and Soup Campbell. Now we got to find the 3 receivers that make the fewest drops. That's really what it's going to come down to. Which receivers, and I don't care if you have to go to freshmen. I don't care what you have to do. At the end of the day, who are the 3 that are good? I think Samaj has kind of solidified himself as slot and guy who you're going to go to on your scripted drives, guy who you're going to go to. He even had a deeper shot against Central Michigan, which I thought was really nice to see Samaj kind of branch out a little bit there. So you've got Samaj, and then who else? Andrew Marsh is showing flashes. But he's still a true freshman, but he is showing flashes, right? So they got to find those 3. But kudos to Ron Bellamy. I promised I would if I saw improvement. So there's that. What did you? Yeah, I guess just kind of final thoughts on the execution you saw there.
Well, I'd like to play the Biff Poggi video, John.
Go for it.
Because I thought this was an interesting bit of the interview. Let me pull it up on the screen. Shout out to 247 for posting this. So here, check this out, guys. I think this is one. Look, we all had our response to the comments from Sharon Moore a week ago. So this is very, I would say, net positive in terms of what is said. The ending I find interesting. We'll get into it. Let's talk about it.
Green light does Underwood have against Nebraska to run, and how much have you coached him on finishing off the runs or sliding, that piece of it? Because it looks like he's pretty good.
He's got a green light to do whatever he wants because he's one of the great playmakers, I think, in the country. You can coach competitors to slide, and it's good that they do. This kid's a football player, and if we could hit stop and everything would stop, we'd run out on the field and get him down, but we can't. So he's gonna finish those runs.
Okay. I find it. All right, first of all, love he has a green light. Love it. The bit about if we could have him slide, we would, but he's gonna finish his runs. He's a football player. I'll be honest. For me, that's concerning. Now, I get it. Like, and let me just also say this. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not upset about it. I just find it. I think that's a dangerous game. If you want Bryce to be a football player when he is going up against linebackers, and I know he's the size of a damn linebacker, but bro, I don't want him taking. I don't want just slide, bro. Go out of bounds, slide. I would not say, hey, finish your run. You're a football player. To me, that's like some dangerous shit. I don't believe in that. I believe in running responsibly, but at the end of the day, I'm happy they're actually going to utilize the kid. So I can't be too upset. You know what I mean? But I do have my concerns with that comment from Biff. I mean, Biff made it sound like Bryce is about to lay some dudes out, and I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need it.
Okay. I will say this. I'm gonna echo what Denard Robinson said today. Denard Robinson said, sometimes you just gotta make football moves. You gotta, sliding every single time. Sometimes that's not what the situation calls for. Denard also said, though, you've got
when you're playing Ohio State, John. When you're playing Ohio State, go on.
Well, Denard said you do have to pick your battles also. So Denard was talking about his experience and how, he was going up against Manti Te'o, and he was going, he was like, look, he needs to pick his battles. Like, don't pick the wrong battle is basically what he's saying. But also, sometimes it's okay to square up. Sometimes it's okay to make a football move.
I will just say I want my quarterback sliding and going out of bounds. I want him running. I don't need you taking on contact. That's me though. That's me. That's my position on it. I mean, it is what it is. I'm happy they're going to utilize him. I'm happy that he's going to be dual threat. Obviously that's the way this should be. We all knew that. We all disagreed with the week 2 approach. It is what it is. We'll have to see how it goes. Hopefully, I don't know. I just feel like Bryce is about to be like, fuck all these dudes. He's gonna like try and take them all on like he's Marshawn Lynch. But
I'm hoping it's not that level of extreme.
yeah, we'll see. I guess we're gonna find out. I'm hoping
And
it's not.
And if you decide to block again for your running back, please don't
Yeah,
use the throwing arm. Like if you're gonna make a block, use your non-throwing arm.
This kid's about to give me a heart attack, bro. I'm about to be stressing out on Saturdays now.
Yeah, I kind of love the intensity, and I wish we would see it more from the head coach also. Like I love Bryce's intensity. I love Haynes's intensity. I love that they went at it. I actually think it's great. I think it's great because these are two players that are, trying to be the best. And look what's happened with Justice Haynes, right? I believe it's 3 now consecutive 100-yard rushing games. That doesn't happen. The last person I just talked about, Denard, the last player to have that was Denard Robinson.
Really?
Yeah.
You would have thought Blake Corum.
Yeah. Blake was up. Blake is definitely up there, though. I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it's interesting though. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, man.
So
I just,
I get what you're saying. Protect him as best you can. And I do think that adding Jake Garnera to the mix at right guard helps with that too, at least from the pass pro perspective. On defense,